Welcome everybody to another Boldcast reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is Naruto episode 87. What happened last time?
Last time, Guy gave Naruto a suit, just one of his like green full body suits, and I was really disappointed that Naruto isn't wearing that now. That would be a great addition to this show.
He was about to pull it out, but Jiraiya just stopped him.
Jiraiya ruining all of our fun, trying to not let Naruto be cool. Also, Jiraiya then did shitty move number 2 of when they got to this village where there's like this festival going on and all these shops. Naruto pulls out his frog wallet and is like, "Oh, I can't wait to, I saved up all of my life savings
from missions.
From missions. I've worked really hard for this money, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna spend it on some cool stuff, but I'm gonna save some of it." And Jiraiya's just like, "Well, you shouldn't. I'm gonna give you this allowance, and I'm gonna take the rest."
The 3 prohibitions of a shinobi.
Yeah. Well,
alcohol, women, and money.
Yeah.
The 3 prohibitions.
And then of course Jiraiya goes and spends all of Naruto's money. It made me really sad.
It was pretty
really freaking dumb. It was a really shithead move.
It was, and then Naruto was like getting pissed off at Jiraiya, and then accidentally threw his squid at the boss who was formerly a chunin of the Land of the Stones. Total bullshit. Obviously, a legendary chunin if there's ever been such a thing.
And then
Jiraiya busted out his secret move and is now going to teach that to Naruto. They're doing some sort of balloon training where he's like swishing water around
inside the balloon, like a water balloon.
So we're going to see what the training is like. I'll say right before we get in, the way this training arc kind of unfolds is really cool. I like the way that they the way that they teach and explain the move that he's trying to learn is really interesting. Like combining all the principles from his previous training and like using the water bottle or the water balloon technique or all that shit. It's really cool.
Yeah, because he was talking about how you're gonna use like the walk on water technique and
the walking up
the trees technique combined in like a different way to do the swirl technique.
It's focusing chakra in a point and then sending out a steady stream of it that's like moving with the water and keeping that at the same time. So it's combining both of those at the same time. So that's pretty cool. And I forget, maybe there was one other thing that they did. I can't remember. Now we're getting into this. This is not a market substitute. Go support the official release on Crunchyroll on Netflix. We encourage you to do so. We expect you already have if you're watching this video. We provide our reaction. We provide reference footage from the show, but we're not intending to steal any traffic or revenue. If you're here to find a free copy, this is not the place for it. We cut to our reaction. We do not cut to the story. Sometimes those things overlap, but it is our intention to steal anything. We hope you can check out our Patreon, patreon.com/boldcast, where you can get a week ahead on Naruto, 4 episodes ahead. We also have a backup channel we ask you to subscribe to. We haven't talked about that very much, but since we got a bunch of new people. Our backup channel, we still have a copyright strike on our channel from our Tower of God reactions. So if you like our stuff, and if you're new here, you probably haven't heard us talking about our backup channel because we aren't talking about it as much. But yeah, we ask you to go to the description, check out our backup channel, subscribe to that, just in case if anything happens to this channel. We already have one strike, like we said. But yeah, we're getting right into this. Hope you enjoy our reaction review to this episode of Naruto. Episode 87. Anything you want to say before we get going?
For anyone who's new and somehow is just coming in for this arc, Carson's seen Naruto before. I feel like we should say that at least a couple times, because some people have been with us since the beginning, so you already know. But some people might have just found us, and
yeah. And if you've gone back and watched up to this point, then you know. But some people just got here with all the Itachi stuff. So
yeah,
I've seen it. I've seen it twice. And watch reactions here and there on top of that. Lindsay hasn't seen anything. That's why the title is My Girlfriend Reacts. Yeah, so there you go. Let's go. I love being able to listen louder. Because the mic's so much further away.
Yeah.
Any second now. Look, the water's spinning. It's going to be even easier than I thought to get this balloon to burst.
Good. Let me know when you've done it.
5 hours later.
It's time for a little break.
Hey, what do you think you're doing?
I might as well catch a little shut-eye while I'm waiting. This stuff helps me sleep.
Don't get too comfortable. This won't
Yeah, okay, kid.
Yeah, okay. Just let me know when you figured it out.
You wait and see. Ha! I'll have this thing down before you even close your eyes, you lazy old buzzard.
You old stick.
Man, this is crazy. What do I have to do?
Well, did you do it?
Oh, he's drank multiple bottles. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Come on. How do I do it? How do I get it to burst?
Like I said before, you won't know how
Oh, wow.
it's done until after you've done it.
That was weird. They drew him in like the shippuden art style there for a second. It's crazy. Like, I don't know. It's probably just chance, but
Even though ideally you're supposed to master this jutsu by
it's a little bit more like sharp.
Trial and error, the right or the left. Which direction are you making the water rotate?
Huh? Oh, well, to the left, I guess.
To
Now
the
walk
left, to
over
the
here.
left.
Oh, this is cool. Oh, I love this.
Working against itself. A good way to build up
This is
chakra
so fucking cool. I love the way they explain this.
Like a spring. Whether the chakra spins to the left or the right depends on the individual.
Are you from Australia or North America? You're fighting yourself
Your chakra's just counteracting itself.
and the
You're
balloon.
in trouble.
It's kinda cool.
something that
Yeah,
most ninja
but that's not it.
eventually figure out for themselves, but in your case,
Yeah, okay, but how are you able to tell that I'm a right rotating type or whatever it is? Ah!
by the way your hair grows.
Mm-hmm.
If your hair grows to the right, that means you're a right rotation type. If it grows to the left, you're a lefty. It's pretty simple, really.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I love the way I love it when they integrate it like to physical shit like that.
Might help if you set the water in the balloon.
Hang on, I'm gonna make a note about that.
Man, I never even knew my hair rotated. Forget about which way.
I think you'll find it, Naruto. All it requires is chakra. No complicated hand signs to be mastered. With a little effort, even a slow learner can get this one. I know that you can do it.
Hey, who you calling a slow learner?
Call him
Are you
stupid.
forgetting who I am? I'm the guy who's gonna be Hokage someday. I bet you in 3 days I'll have this whole thing nailed. You won't be smiling then.
3 days.
3 days. This jutsu was handed down to us by none other than the 4th Hokage.
Huh?
Yes, and it took the 4th Hokage 3 whole years to perfect it. In terms of difficulty, this is the second hardest jutsu of all. It's one of the master rank in jutsu. To learn this move, you're mastering 3 different phases of training. The water balloon burst is only the first.
A lot of threes here.
Mm-hmm.
Naruto,
3 years.
like with
And he was the best.
Harry Potter, it's all in sevens and shit.
Haven't even finished the first
And this
phase
is all
yet.
threes.
You're gonna master it in 3 days, huh? Yeah, right. Knock yourself out, kid. Meanwhile,
It's a really nice background.
you're
Yeah.
heading back to town. I've been neglecting my research. It's getting late. You coming?
I'll stick around a little longer.
Nice one, kid.
Got what it takes.
I wonder if I should be leaving him alone after what happened last time I left him alone.
Are you the guy we've heard about? The one doing research on pretty girls?
Yeah! That's right. You've heard of me?
We'd be glad to help you with your research. Buy us dinner, we'll stamp your card. When the card's full, we'll tell you everything.
Woohoo! Sounds like fun. What's your
I think they do have shit like that. They have places like that in Japan where you just pay to like hang out with sexy ladies in bars. I think that it's pretty sketchy a lot of times, like a strip club type deal. But like,
Oh.
Leave him alone now, Whiskers. Come on down.
Whiskers?
I wonder what
Excuse me. Which way's the restroom?
I wonder what the Japanese name was, because they clearly just changed the name.
Your hair, Jiraiya. Is that its real color?
Darling, everything about me is real.
Well, it's getting like stretched.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a break! Dang, Purdy Sage knows something I don't. What?
Is she a giant? Did you see how her like torso was taking up the entire frame, and she was like behind him. Oh shit! Oh, he's all cramped up.
What's wrong with me?
This seems like a really cool trip, though. You know what I mean? Go stay at a hotel at like a new village and just practice some jutsu like for all day, and then
Bring me some water, would you?
he's hung the fuck over.
Oh, that's the first phase of training. What's next?
I don't like that image. Just his hands all wet. This could be interpreted in like the dirtiest way possible. If they were so inclined to do like an abridged version.
There, old man! What'd you think of that, huh?
That was so badass. One day and he's got the first thing down pat.
Sorry about that.
It's already been 3 days.
Oh, it has been 3 days.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was day 4, I think.
Oh, okay.
Is that what you call it?
I'd have handed to him.
He looks so weird.
Well, they're drawing him like
Different, yeah.
paying attention to.
It's a weird idea, but then hey, he's a weird kid. And weird isn't necessarily bad. Looks like you did it. Good for
So
you.
he's like forcing chakra in multiple directions with his other hand.
Actually, I've really got him to thank. I was watching this guy
He's so
play around
cute.
with my
Yeah.
balloon, and I got a
It's a
brilliant
strange,
idea.
like, strangely drawn cat for Naruto.
Knocking it back and forth, which meant the water inside must be going back and forth too, in different directions. That's when it came to me.
And what would that be?
I thought back to when you were showing me what to do that first time. I remembered how bumpy the surface of the balloon got, like it was boiling. My problem was, I was making the water rotate, but in only one direction. That's why my balloon was smooth, not bumpy like yours. If it was gonna burst, I had to get the water spinning in a bunch of different directions, bumping into itself. So, once I finally figured that part out, the
Who
rest
holds a
was
cat
easy.
like that?
You completed the first step.
All right!
He just threw the cat!
You one more time.
And it only gets harder from here.
And that's just the first stage of the training.
Ah, come on, you're kidding me, right?
Let's see if you can pop this one.
A rubber ball.
And let me tell you, it's a lot harder than a water.
Just imagine trying to squeeze that. Like, you spent
Yeah.
3 days trying to squeeze.
This is hard.
The first element is rotation. The second element is force. But this object is solid. There's no water inside, so it's far more difficult to exert your chakra rotation on it.
Yeah, I can see that.
And it's like
I'll leave
thick.
it to you
Like,
to figure out.
I'll have to come up with something new for this one.
And in the meanwhile, I better get back to my research.
Hey, Pervy Sage, don't go away again. Come on, stay and help me with my training. Don't leave me out here by myself.
Stop whining. There's one part of this process you don't seem to understand. I said I'd be your teacher, not your father or your best friend. I'm not here to hold your hand. You have to do this by yourself. Or
he
not
said to
at
the
all.
orphan.
Stop being a child and learn how to stand on your own 2 feet like a shinobi.
All right, I will. I was just hoping before you go, you could just show it to me one more time.
Pay me.
Pretty harsh.
Get out of here, you creep.
With the money that you stole from me, you...
Acting like a shit.
Yeah, I don't know, that for some reason that always struck me as like kind of shitty. Like, I don't know. He is right though.
I want one of those, Dad. Can I? The frozen fruit on a stick. Please.
There you go.
Oh, I'm big now. I can eat the whole thing myself.
No, we'll share. Besides, what would your mother say if I let you spoil your supper?
Okay.
Makes me want to cry.
Say,
I'm tearing up a little bit. That's rough.
Well, maybe you could stick around for a while today? Help me train?
Sorry, no time. I've got to go into town and keep an appointment with someone who's helping me with my research. It's up to you to figure out by yourself, Naruto.
Oh, sure, of course. Don't worry about me. I understand. And this pain. The more I try to increase the flow, the more it hurts. But I have to. I have to give it all I got or I'll
The
never
bags under his eyes.
Yeah.
all I got isn't enough. That's it. I can work through the pain to generate more chakra and then push it right to the limit of what I can endure. Not enough.
And the Naruto theme.
Still not enough. Yeah, I've got it. I got it.
It's really good.
Yeah, but I only made it spring a leak, not burst like you did.
Boy, you're getting awfully picky all of a sudden. Here, want one? You've come far, and all on your own.
That's delicious.
No sensitive teeth in the Leaf Village, apparently.
Ready to try a little?
Oh, yeah. This is cool, too.
What is it?
Find out next time. Alright, what'd you think of that one?
That was good. Jiraiya, like, really pisses me off.
Yeah.
Because it's like, he's not entirely wrong about, like, Naruto needs to do it for himself. But he's, like, he's, like, forcing that in, like, the shittiest way possible. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not just like, oh, he needs to do it for himself, so I'm going to, like, inspire him to want to do it for herself. It's like, I'm going to punish him so he has no choice but to
Punish
do it.
him.
Well, I guess not punish him, but I'm going to be, like, kind of shitty towards him.
He was just being really stern because Naruto's really hyperactive. This episode really hits home for me personally, because it's like, I don't know, it's anything to do with education like that where it's talking about shit like that. Like, same reason why Rock Lee hits home. Anyway, I'll get to that in a second. We'll talk about a little bit different stuff. I have a note on that, but yeah, he's just really a stern teacher, and I think it's good that because he had an arc in this episode too. It was like, oh, Naruto's really crazy and like super hyperactive, and he doesn't need me walking him through it. What he needs is to be able to like sit and like focus on figuring it out for himself, and that's what's going to get him the most out of it. But he wasn't thinking, and he's probably right, but he wasn't thinking about what Naruto needs, like, personally.
Yeah.
He needs, like, a little bit of bedside manner because he's just like that. Like, he's not, he can't just live off of just, oh, I need to get this jutsu. He needs, like, some sort of camaraderie or something like that. It's, like, somebody on his level to help him, like, bounce off of.
Especially because he's literally in a town where he doesn't know anyone.
Yeah.
His only, like, form of contact is that cat in Jiraiya.
That cat, Jiraiya, and, like, whatever stall owner.
Yeah.
Like, when he gets
whoever
food.
he goes to. But, like, it's not, like, having some friends around to, like...
bounce off of or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, well, it's just interesting because Jiraiya had that arc, too, of, thinking that he needed to just the stern hand, and then realizing, oh no, maybe there's something more to this. And I guess that shows that you could take it as, oh, he like learned to be a better teacher, I suppose, but like he taught the fourth Hokage. Like he's a good teacher. He just realized that's what Naruto needed.
Yeah,
and
different
it showed a different side.
have different needs.
Yeah, because like he I don't know. Maybe he just didn't think of that before, but he did think of it. He did like do what he needed to do. Yeah, I don't know. It's good. It shows you a different side because like it really contrasts with the last episode of taking Naruto's money and just going and spending it on dumb bullshit and like being a complete asshole. He can also be like a warm fatherly type figure when he needs to be. But yeah. What I was gonna... Oh, wait. I want to talk about the training thing first. The explanation with, like, the left and right rotation, I always thought that was so fucking cool. What, are you gonna look at... Are you gonna try to look at my hair? Let me see about you.
My hair doesn't...
You gotta look here. You are... this way. counterclockwise. So I guess that would be left.
Looks like
You gotta look at, like, the full-on route, like, the part where it starts to, like, turn. Can you not see?
I can see it. Okay, maybe it's right here. It looks like it's this way.
Clockwise?
Yeah, clockwise.
So I guess that it goes to the right. So I guess that means I'm a right rotation? Or it turns into the left. I don't know. That's where it always gets me confused. Because on the left it was going like this, or like from the camera's perspective, like that, like counterclockwise. I guess right is clockwise, left is counterclockwise.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I always just thought that was really cool. That's like my favorite thing. We talk about this in Demon Slayer. I talk about this all the time. When, like, fantasy and sci-fi, or specifically fantasy, where it's, like, magic-based type shit, when they base it on something real, or they, like, connect it to something that's, like, at least relatively plausible, or something relatable. I like it when they do that by relating it to, like, mythology, or, what's a good example? I'm trying to think. I don't know, when they connect it to ancient, like, biblical type stuff, it gives it like kind of a weight, but it's also the same for, like, physical, like, things that happen in the real world, rather than just, like, other ancient like tropes and stuff like that written in the past. Also, like, in a good example in Demon Slayer, spoilers, not really a spoiler for, like, episode 5 of Demon Slayer, the Nichiren swords are formed from the ore that's on the highest mountain in the country, and it's able to kill demons that are, like, vulnerable to sunlight because it's on the highest mountain, and that's the only place they can get the ore because it's constantly taking in sun rays.
It's a 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Sun. It's never in darkness.
Captures there's a little bit of light in the rock itself, and because it, like, you can kind of reason it out in a way that makes sense. That's what makes it really cool. In this way too, like, oh, if this magic ability is about, like, spinning and spiraling in a direction, and you are actively working against what, and you can tell by stuff like that, like, reading tea leaves is another thing, like it's kind of like that, you know, like, I don't know, so stuff like that really is really interesting to me. So I think that's really cool. But yeah, what do you think? What do you have anything else you want to say? 3 hardest jutsu?
So it's one of the 3. Is that real? Like, Jiraiya was being serious about that?
Yes. Wait, he said 3 hardest jutsu?
It's one of the, like, 3 hardest. I think he said that. I don't know why I would have written that down. If he didn't. He was saying it's, like, really, like, it's like whatever kind of level. It's, like, really hard.
Can we go back and listen just so I know what he was actually saying? Do you know? It was early on, right? Like, earlier than this?
Yeah, it might have been, like, around there.
The water balloon bird.
It's difficult, but there are way more difficult things to pull off.
That's what I thought. I was just like, he's like hyping it up, and I'm like, maybe it's hard.
I could go along with it with you because, like, that's what the story's saying. And to be honest, what I think this is Kishimoto was like, oh, because the fourth Hokage did it. The number 1 they're obviously referencing is the Reaper Death Seal. They're probably talking about that's the number 1 hardest. This is also the 4th Hokage developed this. This is his second, like, hardest, and it's of the master class. It's a really difficult jutsu, and nobody knows it. Like, it's difficult to pull off, I think, because it requires, like, very specific chakra control, and it's passed down through this. Like, as far as I know, nobody knows this jutsu but the 4th Hokage and Jiraiya. Like, I don't think anybody else knows it. I don't know if that's because it's super difficult, but I don't think it's as difficult as he's saying. Like, it's not up there with the Reaper Death Seal.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is something like this, something that could be, like, copied with the Sharingan, or because it's, like, doesn't involve hand signs, it's really hard to learn because you have to, like, do it your own way. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't just be like, oh, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Now I can just do it.
Copy your jutsu,
it's like, you have to actually put in the time because Naruto's doing it different then like Jiraiya was doing it, but it still has the same result.
Yeah.
That's just how Naruto does it. Is that sort of the thing? Like, you have to find out how it works for you.
As far as I'm aware, Jiraiya is like doing it the way it's supposed to be done, and that's the way it's supposed to be done. Naruto is finding a creative solution to his particular issues, and that's what I wanted to talk about next. Unless you had anything more to say.
No, I was just like, I guess, kind of curious about that. Because it's kind of interesting, because most things, other than, like... Yeah, I was just thinking, because, like, the like, tree climbing thing, is that technically a jutsu? Is that technically, like, a thing? Or is that just...
Technically, it is a jutsu, because you're using chakra in a specific way.
Sasuke wouldn't have been able to just, like, look at someone do that and then be able to do that.
If he had the Sharingan, possibly, yes.
Oh.
Possibly, yeah, because it like unlocks the secrets of whatever you're looking at. That's kind of what it does. So like, I'm not sure how it would work with the Sharingan, exactly.
Like if someone could just look at someone doing that and be like, oh, this is how it's going. I can just do that now.
They could probably understand how to do it. Like I honestly don't know about that with the Sharingan, because it gets kind of complicated with that, because like. It was introduced, like, when Kakashi first used it against Zabuza, it was like, he's perfectly mimicking him, and it was supposed to be set up like, oh, he's getting in Zabuza's head, that's why the Sharingan is epic, because that's why it's, like, shaped like that, because it's, like, mesmerizing, and it starts to spin or whatever when it's working, that's, like, a visual effect, but, like, it's meant to be, like, a fuck with your head type thing. That's why it works with, like, what Itachi does, it's, like, genjutsu, but it's, like, you know, so it's meant to, like, mimic what's going on. But, so I don't know, because I don't know how to answer that. It's difficult. It gets really complicated with the Sharingan.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like thinking about all the stuff. I'm like, it's kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, sit on that. You'll learn more about the Sharingan as we go along. But we'll see on that. But yeah, what I want to talk about with like how Naruto does it, it really like. So I'm gonna get a little bit personal here. Going through school, I had a really rough time, like, sort of getting on the same level as the rest of my classmates, because I had undiagnosed ADD, which apparently isn't, like, a thing anymore, diagnosing ADD, but it really, like, messed with me. Like, I couldn't, like, wrangle my focus and, like, force myself to focus on anything that was going on. I would, like, look out the window or just get super distracted. I couldn't force myself to focus on anything. So I had to, like, if I wanted to really, like, be on the same level as everyone else, I had to put in way more effort, even though I wasn't dumber than all the other kids. There was just a blockage there and a way that I learned that was different than everyone else. So, and that's why things like this episode are really cool to me, because it shows, like, and why Rock Lee is such a cool character to me, and I think a lot of other people who watch Naruto, because it just shows that, like, even if, you know, you don't have to work the same way as everyone else. It's like work smart, not hard. It's like just because you're not as gifted as everyone else, or because you have like certain disadvantages that other people necessarily don't have to deal with, it doesn't mean, like, you might have to try slightly harder than them, but you don't have to like white knuckle your way or force your way to do the exact same thing as them. Naruto, instead of like forcing his way to do the exact same thing that Jiraiya was teaching him, he like worked with himself rather than against his disposition to like find a creative solution that works for him. So it's not like, you know, you don't need to do things the same way as everyone else. If what matters is the result and being able to do this. Of course, like, maybe he'll run into some issues needing both of his hands to like do this jutsu. Is obviously less efficient than just being able to create it in your hand.
Yeah.
But he's able to achieve a similar effect. It does put him. He's still working within that disadvantage, but he was able to find a solution to it. And I think that's a really good lesson, especially for kids who like were watching this back in the day, because I didn't watch this when I was like a little kid. But I like, this show kind of goes into that a lot. Like it's a very common theme, like especially with Naruto as a character, but also with Lee and other things. Like, you know, you don't need to. There's a way that if you're determined enough to do something, then there's a way that you can like get ahead of other people or get an edge. while still working with like disadvantages other people have. So I always thought that, and the way that they portray that in this episode especially, like with all the hair rotation and the way the test is set up, it's really interesting the way that they do that, and really cool. So yeah, that's all I want to say on the episode. Anything you want to say before I get going? What are you thinking? So Naruto, one last thing, we'll set it up for the next one. Naruto like popped a hole in the rubber ball. What do you think of that? What do you think the next test is? Like just creating the thing, or like where do you think we go from here?
Are they going to the next test yet, or does he need to like
he needs
get
to master
better?
this. He needs to finish this one up, but like yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what the next one would be. Maybe yeah, because like when Jiraiya did it, it was like he like made the thing and then like flung that guy away. So I don't know if he needs to like practice just like making it with nothing there, or if he needs to practice sort of like making it and then like flinging it at like a stick or a rock or
because it is like a palm strike. Like you just push it into somebody. It's not like you shoot it at somebody or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's really cool. It's really cool jutsu. We still haven't heard the name of it. So that's really interesting. We'll hear that in the future, obviously. But yeah. Anything you gonna say before I get going?
Nope.
Alrighty. Hope you guys.
Actually, one more thing. The cat was super cute.
Whiskers.
Yeah.
I wonder what the real name was in Japanese. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you leave a like on the video. Hope you stay tuned, stay subscribed, and stay tuned for our next Naruto reactions. You can get a week ahead on Patreon, 4 episodes ahead on Patreon. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And we'll see you next one. Bye-bye. And thank you to all of our patrons, especially those in the Student Council: Michael Wells,
Vash,
Salad Dallas,
Jude Caspino Buford,
Charles Liu,
D23L,
JC Andrada,
Napoleon Bonaparte,
Handicap Bonkai,
Brian,
Nelson Barbosa,
Xavier Rhodes,
Chris Janvey,
Yeet,
Lewis,
Iwan Pilger,
Aurora,
John Ortega,
and Zenge. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in the next one.